Hello friends, welcome to my channel and I am Sourav Nath and today I am going to tell you one short horror story, FLEMING'S Hallucination, written by Ambrose Bierce. Ambrose Bierce was an American short story writer, journalist, poet and American Civil War veteran. He was born in the year 1842 and died in the year 1914. Now let's start the story, FLEMING'S Hallucination. Of two men who were talking, one was a physician. The other man said, "I sent for you, doctor, but I don't think you can do me any good. Maybe you can recommend a specialist in psychopathy. I fancy I am a bit loony." The physician said, "You look alright to me." The man replied, "You shall judge. I have hallucinations. I wake every night and see in my room intently watching me a big black Newfoundland dog with a white forefoot." The physician said, "You say you wake. Are you sure about that? Hallucinations are sometimes only dreams." "Oh, I wake all right. Sometimes I lie still in a long time, looking at the dog as earnestly as the dog looks at me. I always leave the light going. When I can't endure it any longer, I sit up in bed and nothing is there." Okay. And what is the beast's expression? "It seems to me sinister. Of course I know that, except in art, an animal's face in response has always the same expression. But this is not a real animal. Newfoundland dogs are pretty mild looking, you know. What's the matter with this one?" "Really? My diagnosis would have no value. I am not going to treat the dog." The physician laughed at his own pleasantry, but narrowly watched his patient from the corner of his eye. Presently he said, "Fleming, your description of the beast fits the dog of the late Atwill Barton." Fleming half rose from his chair, sat again and made a visible attempt in indifference. He said, "I remember Barton. I believe it was reported that, wasn't there something suspicious in his death?" Looking squarely now into the eyes of his patient, the physician said, 3 years ago, the body of your old enemy, Atwill Barton, was found in the woods near his house and yours. He had been stabbed to death. There have been no arrests. There was no clue. Some of us had theories. I had one. Have you?" "I? Why, bless your soul. What could I know about it? You remember that I left for Europe almost immediately afterward. A considerable time afterward. In the few weeks since my return, you could not expect me to construct a theory. In fact, I have not given the matter a thought. And what about his dog?" "The dog was fast to find the body. He died of starvation on his grave. We do not know the inexorable law underlying coincidences. Staley Fleming did not, or he would perhaps not have sprung to his feet as the night wind brought in through the open window the long wailing howl of a distant dog. He strode several times across the room in the steadfast gaze of the physician. Then, abruptly confronting him, almost shouted, "What has all this to do with my trouble, Dr. Halderman? You forget why you were sent for?" Rising, the physician laid his hand upon his patient's arm and said gently, "Pardon me. I cannot diagnose your disorder offhand. Tomorrow, perhaps? Please go to bed, leaving your door unlocked. I will pass the night here with your books." "And can you call me without rising?" "Yes, there is an electric bell." "Good. If anything disturbs you, push the button without sitting up. Good night." "Okay, good night." The man went to his room. Comfortably installed in an armchair, the man of medicine stared in the glowing coals, and thought deeply and long, but apparently to little purpose, for he frequently rose and opening a door leading to the staircase, listened intently, then resumed his seat. Presently, however, he fell asleep, and when he woke, it was past midnight. He stared the falling fire, lifted a book from the table at his side, and looked at the title. It was Denneker's Meditation. He opened it at random and began to read. For as much as it ordained of God that all flesh hath spirit, and thereby taken on spiritual powers, so also the spirit hath powers of the flesh, even when it is gone out of the flesh, and lived as a thing apart. As many a violence performed by wrath and limited swath, and there be who say that man is not single in this, but the beasts have the like evil inducement, and the reading was interrupted by a shaking of the house, as by the fall of a heavy object. The reader flung down the book, rushed from the room, and mounted the stairs of Fleming's bedchamber. He tried the door, but contrary to his instructions, it was locked. He set his shoulder against it with such force that it gave away. On the floor near the disordered bed, in his night clothes, lay Fleming, gasping away his life. The physician raised the dying man's head from the floor and observed a wound in the throat. The physician said, believing it was a suicide,
I should have thought of this.
When the man was dead, an examination disclosed the unmistakable marks of an animal's fangs, deeply sunken into the jugular's vein. But there was no animal.
You are listening to the story FLEMING'S Hallucination, written by Ambrose Bierce from the channel Storytelling Station. If you love the story, please give it a like and share this with your friend. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and also hit the bell icon